Yo, what up YouTube? So I've been wanting to make this video for a while. I bought my Prelude, which I'm gonna put pictures up. I bought that thing a while ago, and you know, I've kind of just been racking up things to pay attention to when you buy them, and just the overall like buying experience, like how it is owning these cars. You know, spoiler alert, I fucking love this car, but you shouldn't try to daily drive one of these things. I mean, you can if you find like a really perfect one. More likely than not, that's not gonna happen. Look at this shit. I have 235,000 miles on my Prelude. I can drive it on the weekends for sure, definitely. I'm just gonna start driving and talking about kind of the general owning experience, kind of things to look out for, and this, that, and the third. Well, one thing that I'll just say right off bat is the car makes a great sound. This shit's kind of lowered to the ground. It's lowered like 4 or 5 inches. I gotta figure out how I can place this camera. One of the main things that you should definitely look out for right off rip, the transmission. If it's a shitty transmission, it's gonna be a bullshit ass thing. It might take like 6 weeks. Stop sign. Fucking Honda minivan. With mine, transmission had already been replaced. And so I was kind of not really worried about that because, you know, with it being replaced with a transmission that had like 30,000 miles, that means I got a good like 70,000. But yeah, the transmission on these cars suck. Make sure the belts have been replaced at some point if it's got over 100,000 miles, I would say definitely. The transmission really, to go back to the transmission, 100,000 miles, you should really start getting that shit checked out. But they start crapping out of like 120, 140. The engines on these cars are fucking really hardy. If you're beating up on that engine really hard, you can maybe get your engine to last, I don't know, 220,000 miles, something like that. Woo, VTEC. That's the fastest 50 miles an hour is ever gonna feel. I installed like a head unit thing. The radio was stolen because, you know, the early 2000s Honda, no shit, it got stolen. Ooh, nice Miata right there. If you can verify that your car wasn't beaten up on, you know, buying at like 160,000 miles isn't that big of a deal. You just gotta make sure the health of the transmission is good and that the timing belt's been replaced. I just painted the valve cover, replaced like, you know, alternator, power steering hose and shit. The overall ride is really smooth. I love this car. The handling is fantastic. The front wheel drive, you're really stuck to the ground. Like, you can pull VTEC while going through turns, 15 mile an hour turns at 45. I wouldn't advise you do it, but you could if you were a good driver. I've done my fair share of, oh shit, I took that turn too fast in this car, and it worked out pretty well for me. I got a pretty good KD ratio as far as that goes. I mean, overall, you could daily drive one of these things if you're able to get a good fine specimen, and a lot of them are beat up nowadays. Million check engine codes, and you probably bought that shit for like 8 grand and it's an automatic. It's like these cars, they're kind of rare and people are deciding the price nowadays. They're going up in value, and that's why I'm making this video. I have a lot of new Prelude owners. Really, I'm just hoping people are going to be able to find the perfect Prelude for them and then not end up buying a piece of shit that craps out on them and now they have to sell it to fucking pick and pull. One thing I would complain about, I do always have to replace my oil. I carry a cord around on me always because I got to top that shit off because I got hella oil leaks. But that's what these cars do. They leak everywhere. There is this fucking issue. The valve cover gasket, it fucking blew, and there was hella oil in my spark plugs when I first bought it. It was completely fucked. It was giving me an EGR 401 code. Like, it was super annoying. Had to fix that shit. Something that's kind of fucked up that you'll realize when you first own it, if you've only driven cars that have electronic steering, like you're like a new driver, you've been driving around your mom's like 2011 sedan, you might not be used to mechanical steering. The steering is very, very rough. You have to actually put some muscle into it. It does have power steering, it does, but it is not that powerful, let's say. The profile is so low that even, you know, these sedans and shit, they look huge compared to you. And so you end up in fucked up scenarios where you're next to like a bus or something and it feels like you're finna die, bro, like dead ass. What else can I say about this car? There's a lot of maintenance issues that you're gonna have to deal with. One thing I will say about these cars, the aftermarket support fucking sucks. You cannot find shit anywhere. I have to go to pick and pull, and you know, it's a 20-year-old Japanese sports car. Like, there's no fucking parts anywhere for that shit. You know, O'Reilly Auto Parts won't carry every single thing for this car, you know what I mean? If you wanna do shit to your car, you're gonna have to source that shit. If you wanna do mods, if you have some sort of issue, like, you know, you bump into somebody and you have to fix the fender or something, it's tough because there is no aftermarket support on the car. Brinks truck, GTA heist, let's rob the bank. They're kind of gas guzzlers. You might see the stats on the car. Gas economy, it's not that good. It really isn't, because, you know, you're gonna be driving it like this. You know, the mileage might be that good if you're driving like a granny, going like under the speed limit for everything. They're quick, but they ain't fast, you know? You're gonna have to be kind of driving it hard if you even want to keep up in traffic. It feels more powerful than that bum is just walking in the middle of the street. This is a terrible side of town, low-key. I love the looks of the car. I mean, it just looks so good. I feel like it's one of my favorite Honda body styles that they ever did. Now, I bought this as my first car, and I've been very satisfied with my experience, minus the level of fixes that I had to do. But to be fair, I bought it for like 2,200 bucks. They do turn heads for sure. People give Honda a lot of shit. I get a lot of head turns in my fucking Prelude. I'm not gonna lie, you know, people be turning their heads and feeling, oh shit, I looked at a Honda. But I mean, they're good looking cars. Less and less JDM cars become affordable on the market. These things are just gonna shoot up. They already kind of are. We at San Jose Airport because I'm too fly, you know, too fly. I love the VTEC, man. This car isn't that fast, but that VTEC is the separating factor, you know? It feels like you randomly just get this other notch of speed, like it punches you in the back of the head. Speaking of punches you in the back of the head, let's talk about transmission issues. For the automatic owners out there, your transmission is gonna be really shitty, man. It'll be super rough, most likely. That could be due to a couple issues. One, they were kind of punchy to begin with. They were pretty shitty hard transmissions. The other thing is, with those transmissions, you could end up having shift solenoid issues, and then it's just super rough. It'll lag on the time. It'll legit feel like you're getting kicked in the back of the fucking head. It sucks. Cars try to race you. See, like right there, the fucking Audi owner. But that's an Audi owner, though. They drive hella fast anyways. People try to race me all the time just because it's a sporty body style. Sometimes, holy fuck, this guy in the Audi, man. He just merged into the lane with like a foot of space. Fucking Audi owners, bro. I don't even remember what I was saying. That sucks. On to the next topic, I guess. The trunk space is pretty good. I removed the carpet, so my trunk's like 2 times the size, and also weight reduction. The oil leaks kind of suck. Make sure. Nah, they gonna know that shit. To my manual Honda Prelude drivers out there, congrats. You got a nice car, man. You got a nice car. If you are racing like a Toyota Corolla or whatever, something like that, they might pull ahead for a second at the start. You'd be like, oh shit. And then, you know, the VTEC kicks in and it's like, okay, you know, I could leave them in the dust then. The low end, that should be scaring me sometimes. They're great cars though. They really are. They're wonderful cars. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much the video. I'm just about to go get some yogurt land because I want some ice cream. It's my weekend on a Wednesday. So like, you know, fuck it. That's what I'm about to do. I'll keep y'all updated on the fucking build. And yeah, peace. Actually, matter of fact, let me do one more VTEC pull first. I got to my location and I thought of a few more things that low-key I think you guys need to know. This car is a tiny car. See those back seats? Tell me who's gonna sit there. Flat Stanley? You gotta understand, you're living with a car that has relatively the same dimensions of like a Prius. That's a little tough if you think about it. Tiny little car. I mean, even getting in and out of the car for some people, I'd imagine would be a challenge, especially if you're like 6 foot. It's like trying to fit a bowling ball in a fucking teacup. Like when I tell you, what the fuck? I mean, like legit, these cars are tiny. Actually getting in, let me show you what it's like to get in. That's what it looks like to get in this car. Should also probably show you. Let me tell you, my car's packing. Look at that shit. Beautiful engine bay. I mean, sheesh. Another thing about owning a Prelude that I know you're gonna have to do if you buy one, especially secondhand. I know damn well you're not getting it new nowadays. If you're already gonna buy the car and fork out like 8 G's or whatever for it, you might as well also get an OBD2 scanner because it's definitely gonna need it at some point or another. These cars throw up check engine codes like fucking it's nobody's business. You're gonna have to live with having the OBD2 sitting under the passenger seat. Make sure the weather stripping on the car is like good because I know when I first got it, I definitely recall it started raining. There was a bunch of water leaking in the trunk. It could cause to a lot of rust, so just make sure that that shit's not too bad. Honda Prelude forums will be your best friend. They can definitely help out with a lot of issues. Say you type in, oh, I got this code on the OBD2 scanner, then they can kind of diagnose a problem sometimes and you won't have to take it to a mechanic. It's like way later in the day, but I thought of a couple more things, so I'm just gonna add on to the end of the video. And I just randomly thought of this while I was going on my walk. Because the car is so tiny, you slide into people's blind spots, and a lot of new drivers, I'm assuming a lot of the people that want these Preludes are new drivers. One of the big problems you're probably gonna face, your mom's grocery getter doesn't necessarily disappear in people's blind spots, but say you're driving behind somebody's fucking lifted to F-250, they're not gonna see you. Yesterday, for example, I was driving on, I think it was 880, and I was in the right lane, there was a semi truck in the lane left to me. They just randomly, without warning, started merging into my lane because they couldn't see me at all in their blind spot. And so I had to drive onto like the side of the road just to get out of the way. Be mindful that most people cannot fucking see you when you're in that thing. Make sure before you buy one of these things that you have a set of metric tools, because if you have only imperial tools, you're never gonna be able to do anything on your car. I just got back home though, so I'm about to stop this video. I think I more or less covered everything that I needed to cover. So that's my video about the Prelude buyer's guide. I might make another one, you know, with some extra shit, like as I learn more about the car. If you're thinking about buying one, definitely weigh your options, because they're really fun cars and they're dope cars, but you have to deal with the fact that they're super inconvenient sometimes. Either way, I'm gonna see y'all later. Peace.